everybody, it's Christine, and today I have another video for you featuring the Wicked Good collection from Paper House Productions. Today I've got some mixed media with a twist for you, but first let's start with creating a frame using the frame punch board from We Are Memory Keepers. I wanted a 12 by 1 inch frame to go all the way around my layout, but I didn't want to mess up the cutting using my trimmer, so I pulled out my frame punch board, and I am starting off just going all the way around and creating a 1 inch frame all the way. And you can see I punched first, and then now I'm just doing the trimming part. Now I'm going to realize after I get this cut out that 1 inch is just a little bit too thick. So I am going to change that, and I'm going to make it into a 3/4 inch frame instead. So you can see here I'm finishing up the cutting on the 1 inch, and I'm going to pop it all out, and it just was too big. It was not going to work for my layout. It was going to cover up too much of the actual layout. So as I looked at it, like I said, I could tell it was just too big. Great thing about this tool is you can just make a smaller frame and you can work with what you've already got. So I just moved it down to the 3/4 inch, and I'm going and punching all the corners, and then I'm going to put it back in the cutting part, and I'm going to cut again. What I'm going for is, again, like you've been seeing me do a lot lately, I want a border that is positive above the layout. I don't want it to be behind the layout and be in the negative space. And so I wanted it to be up there. I could have mitered the edges and done it that way, but I didn't really want to. I wanted to just keep the plaid all together the way it was on the patterned paper and not risk messing that up, and it just wasn't worth it to me to do the mitered edges on this one. It wasn't going to work in the same way as this was. So why not use this great tool that I have, this frame punch board, and get it all done. So there we have it. Now I have a 3/4 inch frame all to go all the way around my layout. And then what you're going to see me do next is this mixed media with a little bit of a twist. So I'm going to pull out this acetate paper from Paper House Productions. But first, I'm going to just go around this white paper, and I'm going to add an adhesive edge all the way around. And then I'm pulling out this acetate paper, and I'm going to flip it over so that I'm working on the side that is embossed. And I'm just taking mist and tapping it all over the place. On certain spider webs, I don't want the whole thing covered. I actually tried that initially, and it was just too much. I needed a little bit of a break. So I'm using a bright orange and I'm using a bright yellow and just getting some onto there. Now, could I dump the mist over and pour it on that way? I certainly could. I just was afraid that it was going to be too messy. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is take water brushes, and I am just spreading out that mist then. I wanted to use the water brushes because I wanted some water to come out and be incorporated and make sure that the mist was staying wet while I was still working. Now, since this is on plastic, obviously it's going to stay wet a little longer. And then after I see that, I can kind of gauge, okay, I need a little more yellow there, or I need a little more orange there. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is just tap some splatters all over the place. This is not to go specifically into certain spider webs. I just wanted to add a few little splatters throughout. And then I'm going to give it a few quick shots of water so it's nice and liquidy. And then I'm going to take that white paper that has the adhesive on it and put it onto it. Now, the adhesive goes underneath that frame that I created earlier, so that hides how I'm attaching my acetate paper onto my layout. But there you can see I've got this beautiful splattered mixed media background that is tucked in behind those spider webs, makes that color pop out, and creates just a really unique, pretty background. I was so happy with how this turned out, and I can't wait to try it with other acetate papers from Paper House Productions. Now, let's go on with the layout. I am going to keep it pretty simple on the rest of it because the background was pretty complicated. So I just cut out Happy Halloween on my Silhouette Cameo, and I just typed that out myself. It's not a specific cut file or anything. And then I also matted my pictures in black. Now, why am I going with so much black? Well, first of all, Halloween. Second of all, I wanted to pull black in from the patterned paper that I have as my frame there, because I felt like otherwise the black was going to be overwhelming in that and the frame wasn't going to make sense. So bringing in black that way by doing my matting in black, my daughter's obviously wearing black in her costume, and adding it in the title. I am using some crafty foam tape from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L to pop up my pictures there. And I cut those pictures down smaller than I usually do. I went to a 2" by 3" picture just to try something different. And because I knew I had a pretty fun, spectacular background going on, I wanted to make sure the pictures would still pop off the page and not get drowned in all the stuff going on in the background. I also am using my Easy Runner with the micro attachment in it for my title. That's great for those little teeny titles because it's only 1/8 of an inch wide. And so I used that to get my title on there real good and make that job easier. Now I'm going to add in just some embellishing from different Paper House Productions products. So the beautiful little banner that you see up there above Happy, that's just comes from one of their cut apart pages in the collection. And then I cut out these little ghosts. I cut those out. I fussy cut them from some of the patterned paper in the collection. And I am just going to build up some little clusters all around the picture and up the layout. So I'm using the ghosts and I am tucking those on there with a 3D adhesive square, a foam one from Scrapbook Adhesives by 3L. And then the little spiders are actually sticker flakes from, or flake stickers, I forget which order that goes in, but one way or the other, they're flakes from Paper House, just little tiny embellishment stickers that are great for projects as well as for planners. And those obviously tie in with the cobwebs. So those were really the basis of my embellishing. I knew I wanted spiders on there in lots of places. And those are really cute because they have little green foiled eyes. So they have that real kind of spooky fun factor going on. And then you can see now, I originally started out thinking, oh, I'll do a triangle visual around, but I decided I wanted to just do a vertical build up. And so I actually have 4 areas of cluster, which is unusual. Very often when I do clusters, I have 3 areas, but today the 4 was working and I think really helps draw the eye from the top of the layout all the way down to the bottom. Now I'm also going to add in some letters from the cardstock sticker pack in this collection, and I just wanted to add in A, and so I have a beautiful Happy Halloween, which kind of funny and silly, but it was fun to mix and match there to make the title. I also am going to pull out a few more little details from this. I wanted to include several of the different pieces because I'm kind of at the end of my Halloween creating, and so I wanted to be able to use as much as I could without making the layout crazy. Now, I decided enamel dots was going to be the way to go because they were a little bit calmer than some of the stickers and wouldn't overwhelm the whole thing. So there you have it. Clean, simple, with a great twist on a background and a fun new mixed media technique to try with your acetate papers. We'll see you soon.